The first half of this video will be no spoilers, so skip to this time if you want the spoiler review. Holy crap, you guys, that was awesome. I just came back from one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. Look, I got myself VIP tickets, a bunch of bar food, the whole 9 yards. I really went all out, broke the bank for this movie. Get this. They have a Five Nights at Freddy's themed alcoholic drink you can order from the bar, and it's called the Fazbear. I don't drink, but if I did drink, you best believe I'm buying that shit. For anybody who says, oh, I'm not gonna see it, it's just for little kids, they have an alcoholic drink called the Fazbear. Alright, so the FNAF movie. Mike Schmidt is Abby's older brother, and he's at the end of his rope. He needs a new job, or he'll lose custody of Abby forever. He takes the night shift at Freddy's, and the killing begins. You know the story. I went into this movie expecting something with a lot of tricks, you know? There's the cupcake, and oh, there's a No, there were definitely tricks, don't get me wrong. There's cameos, references, jump scares just like the games, little musical cues, whatever, they're in here. And I'm sure you'd love to hear me talk about all of the references and Easter eggs, but we're not gonna do that just yet. Cause damn it, I love how this movie really gets you to care about Mike. Everyone's gonna be talking about, cause I can already see the IMDb, cause you know, everyone knows what rating this movie's gonna get. The critics are gonna think it's terrible, and the audience is gonna love it. Basically guaranteed at this point. This is just that kind of movie. But honestly, if this movie gets panned by critics, I think they weren't paying attention. Because this movie really wants to get you acquainted with Mike Schmidt, his relationships, the mystery. This movie has a lot of mystery surrounding its characters, and we don't get all the answers. That's what Five Nights at Freddy's is all about. This is not just a movie with references, it's a movie that is structurally sound, and I think that just that makes it deserve a really good score on Rotten Tomatoes, because I think this movie is not just a good Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it's a good movie. We spend time with Vanessa too, and we learn how she's sus AF. Can't believe I just said that. We see Mike, his connection to Abby, his connection to Freddy's, his backstory. All are perfectly cast, by the way. Abby is great. Josh Hutcherson as Mike is so good. You really connect with him. Vanessa's pretty good too. She doesn't get as much to do, but that's okay. She does give off like a very who are you kind of vibe, and that was perfect. But of course, Matthew Lillard. Oh my god. This is his Iron Man. From Shaggy to... I mean, you can tell he had a blast playing this character, I'm sure. And god, we don't get a lot of him in this movie. I'm gonna be real. I will tell you that. It's not really a spoiler. We don't get a lot of Matthew Lillard. It's really just 2 scenes, and that really sucks, but it kind of makes you appreciate him more. Because every second you get with this guy is just pure bliss. Oh, my theater they were clapping. Oh, so was I. So the casting, great. The characters, great. The pacing, fantastic. This movie has a second act that doesn't feel sluggish at all, which can happen. This movie's like an hour, 50 minutes, which is pretty reasonable, and it's kind of perfect. The pacing is great, you don't hang on anything for too long, but it also doesn't feel like a short movie either. The set design, dude, I want to know the budget for this movie. Because Blumhouse is, of course, known for making like low-budget slasher flicks, there ain't no way that they didn't break the bank for this movie. You can really tell. Every inch of this pizzeria is intimately designed. Animatronics, you get to see the animatronics, and god, they take your breath away. Every scene, the sound design, my thoughts are all jumbled, but I'm trying not to give anything away. Seeing the animatronics in action is worth the price of admission alone, even with the VIP tickets that I bought. They are truly awesome. But now we'll get into minor spoilers. Now, I've decided to not talk about any of the surprises in this movie. Everyone knows they were gonna be, you know, the nods to the fan community, but you really need to experience those yourself. In a theater, preferably. Let me be clear. They don't make up the movie, they only add to the experience. And the way they're shot makes them truly surprises. You're not casually thrown into them. Hearing the theater reaction, gonna be awesome. The one spoiler that I wanted to get into is the ending. William Afton, in the golden Bonnie suit, just shows up, starts talking in a robot voice, just gets his knife out. Oh, that is fantastic. He was a standout in every way. And his death scene right before the credits is peak FNAF. He stretches his hand out, and the ghost kid just shuts the door on him. What is up with those ghost kids? You know, what is up with them? Because they're like good and also bad. William Afton, I think, was controlling them through changing and manipulating their memories. So it feels like there's a whole other movie of William Afton, like, learning about the possession and learning how to control these guys that we don't really get in the games, and we don't really get any kind of elaboration on. It was a really weird twist for the movie to take, and I can kind of get the vibe that this is something Scott ran through his head like so many times, and it kind of works. It also kind of doesn't. Again, this movie is not flawless. There are a few rough edges. This is one of them. William Afton literally controlling the kids through changing their memories. It's believable in a universe such as this, but it isn't the most dramatic thing ever. But it's fine. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, William Afton in the Golden Bonnie suit. That was just peak FNAF. The spring lock scene, for those of you who haven't seen it but are for some reason listening to spoilers right now, the spring lock suit scene is great. It's not as bloody as people were probably hoping it would be, but that is honestly okay, because his performance, Matthew Lillard's performance during that scene, is great, and I love it so much. There was one kill in the movie that really caught everyone in my theater off guard, because this movie's kills are not very bloody. They're just not. There's very little blood, which is, I suspect, most people's problems with this movie probably were, but there was one where you don't see the blood, but you see the shadow of what happened, and it is goddamn brutal, and it was awesome. A lot of people are going to be upset that this movie didn't have a lot of blood and gore, but, you know, the games never really had that either. A little bit, maybe. I don't think it's a problem. Would you rather have bloody kills, but kind of bad-looking CG animatronics, or would you have real animatronics that killed with jump cuts or killed with minimal blood? Honestly, I would rather have this. We don't need all that over-the-top gore. It would have just alienated a lot of the audience. Of course they're gonna tone the blood down because there's a lot of kids in here, you know? Honestly, I think it didn't detract from the movie at all. I'm rambling, but, you know, at the end of the day, this is a movie that I completely expected to just be references and that was it, and we weren't really going to get to know Mike at all, but we did, and it was a really enjoyable time. Even as a non-FNAF fan, I mean, I am a FNAF fan, but if I wasn't, I would still enjoy myself enough to be curious about the story. If you're not a FNAF fan and you want to go see this movie, try to see it with at least one of the friends being a fan, because honestly, you see the sparkles in their eyes when some of these references happen. You will want to play the games, seriously. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling. Probably going to be really shitty editing on this video, but I need to get this out because I need to tell you my thoughts. As a score, I'd give it, as a FNAF fan, I'd give it like a 9.5. I mean, are you really not gonna see this as a FNAF fan? No, you're gonna. And you're gonna be excited and you're gonna be satisfied. It's really gonna deliver for you, I think. Even if there weren't any references, it's still a great movie. As a non-FNAF fan, I'd probably give it like a 7.5. It's not even, it's not Citizen Kane or anything. There are definitely some rough edges, but I think even if you're not a FNAF fan, it's still above average because it's gonna get you interested in the universe. So, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. Are you gonna see it? Have you seen it? And if you have, what did you think? The Rotten Tomatoes score is really gonna go up and down, I'm assuming. So, but I feel like you can kind of trust this review because I just got out of the theater and I feel like I'm being pretty reasonable with my review. Honestly, I had such a fun time. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you next week with the next Rick and Morty review. Peace out.